Okay, we're back. All right, Tucker's found some gear. Oh, save that. Save it. It will only do that damage once, and shoot it at the boss as soon as we get in there. Use that. As soon as you shoot it, its damage goes completely away because it's an antique. So that 5,000 damage, that's insane. Times 7. So use that shot on the boss.
Okay.
Because 5 and 7 is 35, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to do 35,000 plus damage to the boss, and it's frost, so you have all your buffs on there too. Maced Wadu of Shelter. Enemies who deal melee damage. Okay, let's go.
Let's test it out.
Let's test it. Oh, fine. We'll get the final cinematic too. Let's see if there's any clarity given to the story and to the season pass as a whole in this. Our goal is a less than 20-minute run.
Pretty bold.
Make sure you buy ammo too.
Yeah, I bought ammo.
It's called Retribution Run. Retribution Run. Face your fears and everyone else's too. Here we go. Attention to the final episode of Tucker and I's Wonderlands Let's Play. And hey, we want to let you guys know we appreciate you.
Oh no! What if they have all? What if they have all 4 heads?
That will be nuts. King Ghidorah.
It shocks you into submission, burns you with false promises and half-truths, poisons you against
Yes!
and allies.
What?
It has fire, poison, and electricity.
So that's what it'll be immune to then, right?
Alone,
Yeah.
until someone comes along.
Just don't use your acid gun.
Oh yeah, the one gun that did damage.
Like yourself again. While it may be that inner demons can never truly be defeated, it is everything to try.
That looked kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but the story as a whole still doesn't have any real continuity to it. But still, that final cinematic was fine. The best one probably they did. Let's finish this fight. Like I was saying, those of you at home that have joined us for this Let's Play, we really do appreciate you. Thank you guys very much. We're grateful. Tucker and I have quite a few other Let's Plays. In fact, I don't know if Quinn's still down here, but she's in one. She's right here. She's in Affordable Space Adventure. That's how we have to do content these days. Tucker can vouch for me. Grandma, I'm the primary care tender. Grandma's suffered a couple strokes, so I brought that up a few times. So things are just tougher these days. It's not as easy just to unplug and stream for 8 hours and not even think about things because I don't have to worry about things. It's just not where life is anymore. I do genuinely plan to return to streaming. No, not quitting. This is just a detour. But right now, this is what we can bring to you, Tucker and me and myself, and it does mean a lot for those of you that still watch this content. So thank you very much.
So when we go back to streaming is when Grandma, like, almost fully recovers from her stroke, right?
Yeah, she'll never be fully better, but you know, when it's not like earlier today, Grandma had to call me up because she was literally stuck in her chair, you know? So, and 2 weeks ago, Quinn, we came home and Grandma had fallen. Unfortunately, there's just it's still right. The mailman literally had to come in the house and help us get her up. So it's like, it's not her fault. I'm not complaining about her. It's just, I don't want to have my headphones on, be completely zoned out, focused on the stream, and oh, by the way, Grandma's been laying on the bathroom floor for 2 hours. And that's like my fear. And until that fear is gone, it's going to be tough. Because right now when we're recording, one, I'd never record without my headphones on anymore if I'm here alone. And if I am recording, it's usually with Tucker here, so we know that we can hear things. And yeah, it's just really a matter of conscience. That's right. Yeah, Quinn can check on her. But I think you guys will. Go ahead, Tucker.
Maybe that's one way to get back to streaming.
Just what?
Have just Quinn be on lookout.
Yeah, maybe. It'll happen. In God's good time, it'll happen again. Whatever's meant to be will be. And right now, this is where we are. So, changing subjects now. Tucker, as we come into the Mimic over here, potentially the last episode of Wonderlands, the last PLC. I mean, it's looking that way. What do you think of the season pass? Was it worth $30?
No.
Okay, tell me why.
PLCs are lacking. The only thing that PLCs have any depth in is just their 4 difficulty DLC. Just make it really. And it seems like the stories are really shallow because we barely pay any attention to it.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's super boring. And it seems like they kind of just took assets from the game itself. Like, PLC 1 is just a rip-off of one shark boss in the main game.
Mm-hmm. Is PLC 4 the best?
So far, I still think PLC 3 is the best.
With Blacksmith Guy?
Yeah, Blacksmith Guy. I think Blacksmith Guy is the best still.
What made that such a strong PLC?
I guess just the boss, the level design, mechanics. It was straightforward and easy. Simple, easy to speed run. You could get faster at it. Even if it was harder.
We like the rooms getting there too, right? Because that was all mechanic driven. So you definitely could speed run the rooms getting to there. I'm not a huge fan of PLC 3's immunity phases with the boss. How you get knocked out into that arena, but I will say that I appreciate that you can
get second lives off of the bullet bills.
Dude, Aunt Sandy really, really loves Madison. Every time someone's talking about Madison or sending pictures about Madison in the text chat, like, Aunt Sandy shows up.
Oh.
Like, Quinn, do you ever see your grandma Marlo? Why doesn't Grandma Marlo ever hang out with Quinn? I want to know this.
Quinn used to stay with Grandma Marlo all the time. Grandma Marlo would get her toys every single time she came over.
Oh, so they just like quit hanging out all of a sudden?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, whatever. That's off subject. So Tucker feels like, even with the Blight Caller, though, I know you haven't played with the Blight Caller yet, though, but doesn't the Blight Caller give some more value to the season pass?
Is the Blight Caller a gun?
Well, yeah, I'm using him right now. Like all those skulls and stuff you see.
Oh, the class.
Yeah, so the class was involved in the season pass. Now, I think it's $10 on its own, and the PLCs were $10 on its own. I think you and I are both agreed that the PLCs, boy, $10, man, that's, I don't know. I think they're worth $5, and that's almost entirely because there was free content given out with Borderlands 3 that was larger in scope, and the only added benefit is it does add to the base game, but there's parts of this, man, that just feel like unpolished, like not having lives in here. The fact that you don't respawn as soon as your buddy beats the room, you got to teleport through, like, those are just things that scream like, it's good enough. We don't need to test it too much. Let's just go. Have you done this on 50? Have you seen how, like, on Chaos level 50, how much random crap will kill you? Anyway, Blight Caller. Does the Blight Caller make the season pass worth 30, or do you stand by the original feeling that it's not worth $30?
The Blight Caller is probably the best thing about the season pass, it seems like. Because it's a whole new class with its own skill tree. And it just goes with the PLCs. And it seems pretty creative and by itself.
Yeah, so the Blight Caller is definitely the bright spot of the season pass. I will say, though, and I've said this before, let's take Borderlands 3. You had 3 Vault Hunters, 4 Vault Hunters, 3 classes each, 3 trees each. That's 12 classes, 12 possible trees, rather. You take my 65 and 2/3%, 12 trees. Wonderlands has 8 trees, and then later BL3 got every character, all 4, got another tree each, bringing that up to 16. Effectively 16 subclasses. The pre-sequel had 6 characters with 3 trees each, so that's 18. 18. Battleborn had 2 trees each. It had a double helix system with a middle helix as a mutation. And I believe they had 34 plus characters in there. And Borderlands 2 had Gage at launch and then later released the Psycho. And there were again 3 trees. So 6 characters, 18. We're at 8. We're at 8. The subclass system's really cool. The Fate Maker system's really cool. Being the create your own character is actually really fun and well done. And yes, you can say, look, there's so much customization, and absolutely there is a lot of mixtures that you can do here, more than you could in the past, I suppose. But if we took it on just a raw content to content comparison, the past games actually have a lot more content, a lot more. And I will say the pre-sequel still, to my mind, has the best characters. It was like the most complex, the most focused towards co-op, the most focused towards doing legitimate mechanics within the gunplay to make your character powerful. The Fate Maker system, the system of the system. It's sweet, it's cool, it's neat. But, bro, it's 8. It's 8 trees compared to the 16, 18 that we're used to. So if I had to look at this, I would have said, you need a subclass with every PLC. And most people, oh my god, game dev is so hard. There's no way we could do it. Dude, people come up with different characters every day. People love that. On the Gearbox forums, which are now being shut down, every hour on the hour, someone was like, here's my idea.
Please put it in game.
I know for a fact that there are many hungry devs who would love to be able to implement a subclass. And yeah, you're gonna have to test it, you're gonna have to code it, and that's gonna take some time. That's fine. You could have stretched the season pass out over a year if that be the case, and it wouldn't have mattered. People would have been so much more okay with the scope of the content as far as the PLCs were concerned, as long as a new subclass came out with every single one, and it would have kept the hype up. And that would have meant that when we got to the end here, because we started with 7 and we got to 8, you know, you had 3 more to that. It would have been 11 trees, but it would have felt like more because of the way you can mix and match. It would have really kept the level of excitement up, and that was not to be. And I don't think it ever will be. They knew enough though. Like, they knew they needed to add another subclass. They just put it all in on one. And man, games like Rogue Company and Apex Legends, and of course League of Legends, the big one, all these different MOBAs, even Battleborn. Battleborn released 4 new characters, even with how that game was suffering. Beatrix, Kid Ultra, Alani, and who was the last one, Tucker? Oh, Pendles, the snake. So 4 characters, and they did that in less than a year, I believe. And yeah, there were some balance issues, but they were all totally, like, you could tell they were almost intentional, because the new DLC characters were OP. That thing that all, like, game devs do. Here's new thing. It's broken. Buy it. And then they fix it. That's how that went. And Alani was literally unkillable when she came out, for instance. Like, this was a multiplayer game with a hardcore competitive community behind it that literally would play that game 16 plus hours a day. And I'm not exaggerating. I knew some of them. And they released a character who was 100% immortal.
Never forget Kid Ultra.
Or Kid Ultra. So, what happened to that gearbox? That's what I want to know. What happened to that gearbox? I want to know what happened to the gearbox that when my brother and my buddy Seth and us, Tucker wasn't around yet, bought Borderlands 1, and we're doing the zombie DLC, and people are like, this game's cool, but it's got its problems. Where is that Gearbox team that literally released the largest free patch that had ever been done to that point? They went through and they rebalanced everything. They gave everybody 10 free levels on a level cap increase. They added pearlescent gear. They added new mini bosses. They added respawning bosses. Like, this was all free, and this was at a time, the 360, when you had horse armor. Like, this was unheard of. And the DLC they released with Borderlands 1, I hope I'm made that clear. I'm talking about Borderlands 1. Was all like 10, 12 hours. And Tucker made a really good point. Tucker, you were talking about how, like, the previous Borderlands DLCs, you got a lot more hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
You got got like 10 hours to 20. Got like multiple days worth of gameplay, but with this one, you have like maybe like a day.
Yeah, maybe like if you're like us and you fail because you're doing this at chaos level 50, we could have easily turned chaos off and been done with this in maybe what, 2 hours at most.
Yeah, we would have destroyed everything.
And we got each of the PLCs down to the point where we could speedrun them in under 20 minutes. And I know PLC 1 in particular can be done in less than 10 minutes. So I will say, I've argued about this, that the Borderlands DLC got really formulaic. With BL3, the fact that they like followed the same structure, it frustrates me because they weren't really like obviously trying to do anything new or innovative anymore. At the same time, if it ain't broke, so the saying goes, don't fix it. Which was, hey, here's 5 main story missions, here's like 10 side quests, here's 2 new endgame activities. Usually like
have fun.
Right, have fun, which is fine. Like and they always farm them out anymore. BL2 started that, and then BL3 did the same. But it was fine. Like they added big new areas. They always added new uniques and new legendaries. There was, with BL2 in particular, there was always a raid boss. But here's an end game activity. Here's a farming activity. Here's a bunch of new quest uniques for having beaten the story, and here's a new world to play around in. And they always like were fine. They were really, really solid, and everybody knew like you got a really good value with the with the Lands games DLC. And I only ever had one problem with it, and that was like they introduced all these really cool like vehicles. I'm down. I need help.
Going.
In the Borderlands 2 DLCs in particular, and then like you only get to use them, and I really need help. You're gonna get it, I think.
Oh my god, he kept knocking me away.
You can do this. Finish it. So like the ships, and then there was the hovercrafts and the hammerlock thing, and then you couldn't like bring that stuff into the main game, but that's such a small thing. And then we got the Lands game, which is apparently its own IP, and I still don't get that. But we got the PLCs, no longer DLCs, in the season pass, and it was all very, very, very much so like the pre-sequel and has been. Except for one factor. With the pre-sequel, there was a bunch of content promised that was never to be because 2K Australia shut down. There was constant updates. Like, yeah, it was losing to Destiny. There was no doubt. The fan base started to fracture around this point. But they really did a lot of updates to freaking pre-sequel if you go back and look at it. The level cap went up to like 89. They added those 2 new DLC characters. And, this is the main point, Gearbox was like, man, fans are upset. They're not happy. They don't feel like they got like a good value. What are we going to do about this? We'll do what we've always done, which is get our best guys together, and we're going to get in a room and we're going to make some really good content. And they did that with what some people argue is still the best DLC Borderlands ever done, which is the Claptrastic Voyage DLC. People love that DLC. It was probably 15, 20 hours of content, bunch of new gear, tons of new areas, really good writing. That didn't happen here. No, a much different story has played out. Good launch state, people generally happy with it, solid hype. I know I enjoyed it. I know Tucker said he enjoyed it on our walk. And the PLCs come out. People are like, what's this? What the hell's this? This is not what
This has gotta be like a beta, right?
Right, it's like a beta, this is like an alpha test, this is an out-of-season April Fool's joke, as the thing goes with Diablo. No response from Gearbox. Man, there's 3 legendary armors laying on the ground right now that I really want to look at. And they just kept hacking away, adding the PLCs. And I will say, if you look at the totality, like, hey, that's quite a bit of content. That's what, 20 new rooms? It's fine. And it's 4 new bosses. It's fine. Which, you know, is like 1 DLC from beforehand, but still, I mean, it's more than nothing. Now, traditionally, Gearbox would have said, we're gonna make this right, like they did with the pre-sequel, like they did with Borderlands 1, like they did with Borderlands 2. We're gonna go all in, and we're gonna really impress you. Rather, what Gearbox did in this case was they went totally radio silent. And I'm not talking like No Man's Sky radio silent, because No Man's Sky was the definition of actions speak louder than words. Like, Tucker, give your sense of the No Man's Sky thing before I finish the story.
They went dark months, and then they came out with update after update and kind of just redeemed themselves.
Yeah, so it was like they were radio silent, but then it was like, here's the Atlas update. Here's the, flying update. Here's the mega city. Here's the Robotron. It was just update after update after update. And they still haven't quit. And now it's on every system. Now it's in VR. Now they're still doing stuff. And everyone looks at that game and says, holy crap, that's how it's done. That's how you do it. If you really love making games and you really do care about, your customers and your fans, this is what you do. You get to work. You make some kick-ass content. And guess what? No Man's Sky sells like hotcakes still. It's just now universally praised, basically. It set the model for what you should do if your game underperforms at launch, or you have an upset and disenchanted fan base. This is what you do. And this is how you save software as a service even. Gearbox had 2 conferences recently, PAX East and PAX West, and they always do like a thing, and Randy goes up there, big at gamers, sings a song and does some magic tricks. People roll their eyes. They did not say one word about Wonderlands during that time. Not one word. Now, the major content creator there, Jolt's dude, he gave up on the game a long time ago. Killer 6, he's another big one in the Borderlands stream team. They prance around, they ask a lot of safe questions. I don't know that many of them are actually pushing the Wonderlands content anymore. Then you have the medium content creators behind the game, and all the ones who are just Borderlands people, they're not doing anything with it. People who started their content creation with Wonderlands are still doing it, but I listen, you can hear the they're getting bored.
Jeez, I'm just going down like crazy.
But you're still fighting. It's impressive. It's like, there we go, man. Your survivability, though. You can do this.
I need to run away and hide.
So they didn't make an announcement, and the point is that in the past, usually when Gearbox had an upset fan base, they answered in a big way. And we now know that what you are supposed to do, and there is a reward for this, you will sell more copies, you will win more awards, there will be more trust in your product, word of mouth sales will increase if you do back it up. Gearbox with Wonderlands is like, we have a good game, we have a fundamentally solid product, fans are really let down by the post-launch support, we should answer. And that answer is simple. Like, we're gonna do 2 major end game events. We're gonna add every 2 months, we're gonna add a new room to the Chaos Chambers. Every 6 months, we're gonna put out a new subclass and make that subclass $10. That's totally fair to me. Make it $10. You got to make money, and we are going to put our heads down, and in 1 year, or maybe even 2 years from now, launch a major expansion to Wonderlands. And at that point, I would be satisfied as a customer saying, hey, you did right. Let's move on to Borderlands 4, because there's an alternate world here where COVID never happens, which is hard to imagine. And this is probably an expansion for Borderlands 3. And I think that maybe was what they wanted to do. And I think that it was so big in scope and so ambitious, and then COVID hit, that they said this is just going to be a standalone game now. And now it is 100% like a stepchild. It's its own IP with its own merch shop. And what are they going to... How? This boggles my mind. It's a game set in the Borderlands universe with Borderlands characters with the exact same gameplay, except that spells are grenades. The same art style, the same gameplay, everything. It's Borderlands. So how do you feel about that, Tucker? That this is its own game. It's not a Borderlands game.
It just seems like a more medieval, magical Borderlands.
Yes. Like, you could already do so many zany, crazy shit in Borderlands that trying to say that, oh, this is completely new in scope, it's different, it's a different IP altogether. No! If you would have made this like a true medieval hack and slash, but it's cell shaded, okay, but you're using Sandhawk SMGs There's even gear from past Borderlands in here, and that's fine. That's not the problem here. Cool,
Just
embrace
admit that it's another Borderlands.
Right, it's just that it is another Borderlands. Trying to say that this is its own thing altogether, then you need to get rid of all the stuff that makes it Borderlands. Because this is just Borderlands, and it's like they don't even know what to do with it now. Well, it sold probably better than they expected because it was one of 3 new games that came out this year. It had really good reception when it first came out. And so there's just going to be a Wonderlands 2 now. I promise you that all you're doing then is putting a full game dev team, which we know is very expensive, and making a game that will always sell less than its older brother. Because now people realize, oh, it's not like a part of the Borderlands thing. It's the one they throw out there to die, and you buy it because you like this style. I just think they're really overestimating how much people love the idea that Gearbox people like Dungeons and Dragons. They like the character Tina, and they like Borderlands 2. It's not specifically because she did the dungeon keep thing, which seems to be... I just think it's a stupid idea, and I think that they're so much better off by saying this is a game in the Borderlands universe, which it is, and saying it's a game that lives right alongside the Borderlands games. And if you're gonna make it this AA stepchild, less beloved younger brother, sweet, $40. I'll definitely buy a game of this quality for $40. This is easily a $40 game, but you can't charge us $90. You can't literally charge us the same amount as Borderlands 3 at launch and then just release half as much content for it and give it half as much attention and love and say, yeah, we did right by that one. We did good by our fans.
Expect it to be more of a success.
Right. Expect it to be such a big success that it's another game they can cash in on the stock portfolio, because 2K publishes these, and you know that 2K is helping to push that idea because it's, hey, that's the whole 2K. Everyone knew Borderlands 3 was coming out because 2K had a shareholders meeting in which, good job, Tucker, in which it said we're going to have a major Rockstar game come out and we're going to have a major Gearbox game come out. And the major Rockstar game, I believe, was Red Dead something or another that year. I don't know. Or they were pushing the Red Dead Online thing. Is Grandma in drop-in, Tucker? Quinn, are you still down here? Is Grandma on the drop-in thing? It sounds like the Alexa's listening. Is it? No, okay. Good job, Tucker. Okay, Quinn, we're almost there. We're actually at like the last part. And then we're gonna go out and take a walk. Tucker hurt his ankle. Tucker's killing it in cross country, by the way. Those of you that are listening to these, he hit another PR today at 14 minutes. It's super impressive. Turns out he's a good runner. I've been thinking about it so much. I literally had a dream I was running with him in cross country, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm a fat bastard these days. I can't run. Used to though. I used to run cross country. Used to be able to run. That was the dream. Like, oh my god, I can run again. I'm running with Tucker, and we're as free as eagles, soaring across the sky. And then I woke up, and I was back in my 200-pound body. Like, oh yeah, this body doesn't run like that anymore. And what are you, Tucker? 135 pounds?
125.
Man, so you're already really big, man. Because I wrestled 100 pounds in 7th grade. I wrestled 135 in high school until my junior and senior year. Like, you're already bigger than me. Chunky. Oh god, here we go again.
I gotta grab a lot of ammo.
Okay.
I spend a lot of it trying to.
Now, Tucker, I'm going to put you in charge, so we'll keep the subject relevant to the current game. You're in charge of Gearbox Studios. Do you come to your dev team and you say, guys, move on, BL4, here we come? Or do you say, guys, the Wonderlands community isn't super happy with us, we need to get this right? What would you do if you were the boss?
Start working on 4, because it's already clear that Wonderlands is dead.
Damn. So you're a very cutthroat CEO. It's definitely a profit thing. Like, yeah, we're not gonna make as much money working on Wonderlands. Screw this.
Anyway, well, like a whopping 3 YouTubers play it now.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean,
Barely gets any views.
Let's look at the Twitch
Nobody
numbers.
plays it anymore.
As soon as we kill this guy, look at the Twitch numbers. I'm sure they're not too good. Borderlands never does that great on Twitch anyway, though. Borderlands 2 does. They didn't even build a bunch of the really cool stream features that they had done for Borderlands 2. We whipped them that time, man. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has 93 viewers, which is basically worse than Battleborn at this point.
Wow.
Man, oh man. It's sad. Wait, I want to check the gear. Got a chaotic frozen orb of windfall. All right, I'm ready. All right, let's make this the one. Twitch has been ruined by ads. See, that time we melted his ass.
Power of teamwork.
I love the scaling in this one too, and I like that it's modern. Like, I don't understand. Borderlands 2 is great, don't get me wrong, but you really want to ignore all the quality of life features, the fact that you got a smoother, more refined, fluid shooter, that legendaries are on the map, that so much stuff is auto picked up, that you have a vault. Like, it can't be good for Gearbox that more people prefer to play the 2009 game than their new stuff. Not all people, but the majority. Holy shit, it's got 3 bars now. This thing looks sweet, dude.
We are melting it though, look at that.
Yeah, it's not immune to our... Whoa!
What the heck?
Holy crap!
He melted through 2 health bars.
Okay.
And 2.5 health bars.
Nice.
What the heck is that?
That was amazing. Chaos level 50. We couldn't beat number 3 because he was immune to all of our stuff, but the second that we got to actually do damage was what we're good with. Holy crap. I hope you clipped that, Tucker.
Yeah, I clipped it.
We wrecked that boy. We wrecked him.
Look at this.
The salmon or this? Oh, the smart armor. Oh, yeah.
There was another one.
It's a good roll, actually. The ward regen, the companion, the all damage dealt.
And I got this from the boss.
Berserker. You don't want that? I didn't get crap from the boss. All right, let's end it on a few spins. We did it, guys. We did it. We're going to spin the wheel a few times, and we're going to call this an episode. And man, so Tucker and I have officially done 6 months of Wonderlands content. We've had a lot of discussions about it. A lot. We've talked about it outside of this a lot. And boy, it's kind of puts a little hole in my heart. I mean, not like a big one because it's just a game and stuff, but 93 viewers on Twitch and like nobody. Oh, okay. Let's listen.
On a boss?
Holy crap.
I was a lost soul once.
Unexpected.
A lifetime ago, I would have given anything to see the
I'll
world.
show you the world.
All the places I'd only imagined.
It's just a
For
board.
small price of my eternal soul, I did. Through this mirror, I could see and only see places I imagined. But what was lost has been found. The sight of my growing army of lost souls, of you freeing us all. A stunning vision. The best I've ever had. Now, in this glass, I truly do see a bright future ahead. For you, of course. And me. Sorry. It's Been a while since I've laughed. Fortunately, I'm finally free to work on it.
So she's unbound now. Is it?
Fighter?
Guess not. Well, at least there was an epilogue. I mean, that's something, but I'm not really sure what we got out of it. Did you get anything out of that, Tucker?
All I got from it is that we eat all of our imaginary friends.
That's true, yeah. Our personal demons. 2 rolls, let's see what we get, and we'll call it quits. We've talked a lot about it. Little hole, you know, a little bit of sadness. I'll tell you what, there's a pang of sadness there because I think this game looks cool. I think this world's cool. I like the way the gear looks. I mostly like the way this game plays. And yet it seems to definitely be, you know, done in more ways than one at this moment.
What's weird is that the hardest difficulty was probably one of the easiest.
Yeah, we just ran through that. That was really nice.
Oh, wow.
What? Oh, wow. What?
Forgot something. Check that out. Check that.
Get another mosquito?
These two.
Wow, congrats. Oh, Spore Ward. And that +1 on that middle one is... Oh, that's a really good roll. The gun damage and the gun critical hit damage. I'm completely full, unfortunately. The Wicked Gossip. 1 hit ricochets to 2 enemies. Spawns poison. Oh, I wanna grab that for sure.
I think like midway through that run, I accidentally fired my antique at one of them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Is that what killed
I was
him?
trying to find a weapon with ammo. I accidentally I didn't want to tell you because I thought it might be boss, but
Turns out
that
no.
immunity, that her difficulty bosses immunity thing stopping us from KOing it.
Dude, we just demolished that guy. Like, that wasn't even remotely close.
Got it to like half health on the top bar. Then it just poof.
Absolutely.
Just like a clip we got earlier on the second difficulty, it just like exploded. It's like a literal explosion we damaged so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Random damage spikes and
I'm guessing that's Quinn killing dogs on,
yeah, she's beating a dog with a bone. When I'm watching you smiling, do it.
She's happy to kill.
Yep, she's happy to kill.
All right, one last roll, see what we get, and then we'll call her.
After we get like the rarest item in the game,
Yeah.
like an ascended mosquito's mantle.
I thought you said one more.
We're doing a rule. We're done. We won. We officially beat all the PLCs. We're about to dash it off the goal board.
Oh wow!
What'd you get?
Actually got something decent.
Really? Throw it down. I'll look at it for you. And then, oh, you threw it in this pile. Pick it back up. I opened my mailbox, so I can't see anything over there. There we go. This thing?
Yeah.
What makes you feel like it's good?
15% loot luck.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
For a grinding build that I'll never make.
Yeah. Okay, Tucker, give the people at home your final word, buddy.
This was an experience.
Yes. Quinn, your final word, besides popping in the microphone.
Wait.
Ketchup.
Oh,
Ketchup.
wasn't done.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
From defeating Son of a Witch to beating Final PLC in quite an experience.
Make sure you're in the mic. We didn't pick it all of that up.
We've both grown mentally, physically.
Yes.
We have cried, laughed, got mad, smiled,
Yes.
playing this game. This game was like a therapy session.
Yes.
Those are my final words. Bye, gentlemen.
I will now give you my
Ladies.
final message. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.